Yeah, I just want to take a few pictures before I took the motor out of the donor truck. It's going to be a 90 model, full-size Chevy, 305 with a 5-speed. The motor is a rebuilt motor that he put in. He said not too long ago. It's really hard to tell how many miles are put on it. I needed to put a new motor in my S10 because my 4.3 liter was using about a gallon of oil every 3 weeks. And I figured if I was going to do it, I might as well go ahead and go with a V8. I wanted to put it in, make it look as stock as possible. Cruise control, air conditioner. I wanted everything to be just like factory. And it's not a hot rod truck, it's just a everyday driver. There's lots of things I had to worry about. Mostly were the exhaust. I see online a lot of people had pretty good luck with putting Camaro manifolds on. The biggest problem I encountered was you had to lift the motor about a half an inch on the driver's side to make the manifold clear the steering link. Some people just move the steering arm over, the whole steering column over. I really didn't want to chop into the truck and do that, or change and put an elbow in it. I found it a lot easier just to change the mount by about a half an inch. It wasn't too difficult. Also on the motor mounts, I didn't have the funds to tear the whole front suspension out to get the bolts and put new bolts in and buy new parts to put it all back together. So what I did was I just cut the bolts out and welded some grade 8 nuts back into the frame and put oversized washers over that and welded on both sides of those, just maybe a little overkill to make sure the bolts held. So I did that. I just bought motor mounts kit off of eBay. It's like $75. Came with the 2.8 liter mounts and the motor mounts that go to the motor. We did this in my garage. My stepdad's garage. I used the stock 700R. It uses the same flywheel, same everything. The only thing I used off of the 4.3 liter was the throttle body itself, so my linkages all matched up. The computer works fine. Fuel pump works fine. Have a fuel gauge on it. Don't have any fuel pressure problems. I did have a couple of problems with the fuel lines themselves. I used high pressure fuel line in place of the aluminum lines for flexibility to move them around and for motor torque. The factory lines weren't long enough. Also used the factory transmission cooling lines. I'm using a brand new factory 4.3 radiator. I bought a pair of fans with a temperature switch and everything off eBay. It was like, it's $90 for the radiator, I think $60 for the fans and the switch. As far as the air conditioner goes, it moved everything forward several inches. The lines need to be shortened, probably 3 inches on high pressure and low pressure to make it fit back factory. Right now, the low pressure line runs over the top of the radiator fill hole, so that's going to be a problem. As far as that, everything just bolted right back up like it was meant to be. So if you have any questions, comments, just put them down below. I'll try to answer anything I can. Yeah, I just want to take a few pictures before I took the motor out of the donor truck.